Hello, I'm James Hortop from Merlin Equipment. I'm here today to speak to you about our range of ABSO 4-stage smart battery chargers. Our 4-stage smart battery chargers can be used in a multitude of different applications. The most popular, generally, boats, yachts, specialist vehicles, ambulances, fire engines, police cars, RVs, or for wherever you've got a portable generator and you want to charge up batteries. Now, before we go into the features and benefits of these specific units, it's really important that we understand how 4-stage smart battery charging works. And we're going to move across to my whiteboard for a little bit of theory. So there's three things that affect battery charging: the internal resistance of the battery, the voltage being applied to the battery, and the current that comes from the battery charger into the batteries. Now, we all remember the good old-fashioned battery chargers that we've got down the shed, where you plug them in, you turn them on, and they start charging at 5 or 10 amps and they drop down very, very quickly. And that is because it's a single-stage ferroresonant type battery charger. And very helpful if one of my colleagues has put a learner system on my whiteboard. As you start to charge, basically what happens is the internal resistance, which is in black on this graph, does this and goes up. And because the battery voltage stays the same, because it's a single fixed output voltage from the battery charger, what happens is the current, which is available from the charger, does this. And that is a standard non-smart battery charger. So how does a 4-stage smart battery charger work? Well, the same things still apply to the battery: internal resistance, battery voltage and current. Now, I've just wiped the whiteboard down, but if we look at this, if we remember, as we charge a battery, the internal resistance increases. So we want to overcome that. Now, the only way of overcoming that is to increase the voltage to ensure that we can get as much current coming into the battery. So what happens when we first start charging the battery? The internal resistance will start to rise. To overcome that internal resistance, we have to increase the voltage. So the battery charger will increase the voltage up to what we call the bulk voltage, which is usually about anywhere between 14.4 and 14.8 volts. So what will happen is the battery voltage on the charger will rise up. The net result of that is that we get a continuous amount of current into the batteries. So basically, to overcome the internal resistance as it's going up, the voltage increases, the net result is the current stays constant from the battery charger. And sometimes you may have heard of these being referred to as constant current battery chargers. That's where it comes from. This stage is known as bulk charging. We're going to call that bulk. And it will bring the battery up to about 80% state of charge. Now, after that, what happens is the internal resistance will continue to keep rising and rising. The issue is it's not safe to charge that battery much more than 14.8 volts. So the battery charger has no choice at that point but to fix the voltage, and it will hold that voltage at 14.6, 14.8 volts. Now, the net result of that is that the current into the battery will reduce, like so. That will bring the battery right up to 100%. This is called the absorption stage. It usually takes quite a lot of time for the battery to reach 100% from 80%. Absorption time can actually be quite long. So we've got bulk absorption. The battery has reached 100% charged. So what we need to do there is actually back the current off. So what happens is that we drop the voltage right down to what we call a float voltage, usually about 13.2 volts. What that does is it just keeps the battery from self-discharging, and the current will just drop down and provide a maintenance charge. This is called float. This is where the 3-stage charging comes from. This is what, when you look at battery chargers on the market, you'll hear about 3-stage charging. So you might ask, what is the difference between a 3-stage and a 4-stage battery charger? And actually there really isn't one. The 4th stage is what we call power supply mode. We can draw that on the graph. So if we imagine that we're on board our boat and we've plugged in, we've turned on our lights, our fridge and various things like that, we can see that the power requirement would look like this. Now, a normal single-stage battery charger can't respond to that and provide that current because the transformer within the charger is already fully saturated. It's already producing as much current as it can. But with a 3 or 4-stage smart battery charger, it will recognise this and it'll actually follow it. So what will happen is that it will start producing, say, in this case, let's say 5 amps or 20 amps to keep up with that load. So the net result is the battery doesn't go flat. So if you imagine it a little bit like a water tank, if you pull 5 litres an hour out of it with a hose and you put 5 litres back in, the net result is it will stay fully charged. There are a few differences around 3-stage, 4-stage smart battery chargers, and where the Absol product really stands apart from the others with two what appear to be very minor differences but are actually quite major. The first one is that our battery chargers are what we call adaptive, and that means is that as they start to charge a battery, they will test the battery. They will look at exactly which stage it needs to be in. Do I need to be in bulk, do I need to be in absorption, or do I need to be in float charge modes? And it will make a decision, and it will change the time that it is in one of these modes for, dependent on the state of charge of the battery. Now the less sophisticated chargers will do this part for a fixed period of time, and it will do the absorption charge for a fixed period of time. Now obviously where that can be a problem is that if somebody trips over your shore power line on the pontoon, and very helpfully plugs your boat back in, well the battery charger will switch itself off and it will go all the way back through its full 3-stage smart charging regime that can actually overcharge batteries eventually. So our adaptive charging prevents that happening. The other mode that we've got, we actually kind of have a 5th mode, and that is what we call a maintenance mode, and that is that once we've been in float for more than 7 days, our battery charger will automatically provide a maintenance charge to the batteries to keep them in absolute tip-top condition, stop them getting memory effect, etc. So the Merlin Absol battery charger range is available in 5 different models. We start with a 20 amp 12 volt unit, 40 amp 12 volt unit, 60 amp 12 volt unit. We have a new 100 amp 12 volt unit, a 24 volt 30 amp unit. All of the chargers have very much the same features, and I'm going to run through those features now for you. Firstly, the battery chargers have universal AC input. They'll accept anything between 100 and 260 volts AC, 50 or 60 hertz input. What that means is that you can use them anywhere in the world. However, when they're operating at, say, 100 volt input, they will still give you full output. Many chargers on the market don't do that. They actually reduce their output by 50% when they're working on half the voltage. What that also means in this country, in the UK, is that if you're on the end of a very, very long pontoon and there's lots of other people using their battery chargers and you're only getting 190 volts at the shore power lead, it still means your batteries will receive a proper charge. The AC input is also fully power factor corrected, and what that means is the battery charger is extremely efficient at AC, so it means that you can operate one of our battery chargers from a very small generator. And in this case, for example, our 60 amp battery charger would operate from something like a small suitcase generator like a Honda EU29. The 40 amp charger would pull less than 1,000 watts. The key feature of the Absol battery charger is the way that it charges 3 separate battery banks completely independently. Most battery chargers use something called a blocking diode to split the charge between the various different connected batteries. Now the problem is with a blocking diode is that they can actually create force feeding into the batteries, especially if you've got different types of technology on each output leg, or batteries which are of large varying sizes, which is quite often the case on most boats. You'll have a 70 ampere hour engine start battery and perhaps 500 ampere hour auxiliary battery. So here we have our 40 amp battery charger set up and working. The charger itself is plugged into 230 volt mains power, and we're charging 2 battery banks with the unit. Now, one of those batteries is an AGM battery, and the other one is one of our power cell lithium batteries. They both require very different charge algorithms, and this is really where the Absol charger is very different to many of the others, in fact most of the others on the market, where you can set up each output for a specific battery type and technology. The algorithm, the charge algorithm for the power cell lithium, for example, is really not suitable for AGM, and the AGM is not suitable for lithium. In fact, it can cause damage and shorten battery life. So having a specific charge algorithm is very important, and it's only possible with either a single battery charger, one on each battery, or a battery charger which has completely separate programmable outputs. Now we've got this set up here, we can see, so we've got the 2 positives running out from the charger to the batteries, a single negative because it will be a common negative on a vehicle or a boat. And with this we've got 2 of the optional extras plugged in. First is a temperature sensor, which we always recommend, especially for the lithium batteries, where it will adjust the charging voltage according to temperature. And we have the remote panel as well. Now the remote panel allows you to set up and monitor the charger from a remote location, so you could put this on your chart table or up on your main control panel in your RV. A really nice little feature that you get with the remote panel is something called silent mode. Now, let's say we've been out sailing all day, a hard day out, we've plugged the boat in, we've gone to bed. The last thing we want to have running while we're trying to get to sleep is some fans within the charger running. So literally you can press a silent button and it will cut the output of the charger down so that the fans don't run. So installation of the charger is very straightforward. All of the connections are underneath this front panel here. We undo this. The AC wiring compartment is separate to the DC wiring compartment, of course. Within here we've got a negative which runs off to the common negative on the vehicle or boat, output 2 and output 1 which are then connected directly to the batteries. The remote panel and the temperature sensor simply plugs in via RJ connectors on the bottom of the unit. So that concludes our demonstration of our ABSO battery chargers. As you can see, they're small, they're compact, they're lightweight, they're very, very intelligent. If you'd like more information, please check out our website, www.merlinequipment.com. Give us a call if you like on 01202 697979. Either myself or my colleagues will be very happy to answer any questions that you've got about the chargers. But if you find yourself in Exeter, you're very welcome to come down to our offices, come and see our showroom, and come and have a see for yourself and play with one of our units. Many thanks.